my YouTube channel. So if you need to go, just know you can access the replay by going to my bio here on TikTok, and there's a YouTube icon. And very good. So we're officially live also simultaneously on YouTube right now. If you're new here, my name is Naima, founder of the Academy for Womanhood, where we help women grow up and own who they are, really become full women, own who they are, take responsibility for themselves, and live the lives that they deeply, deeply, deeply long for. And today's topic of vibrational level up is a culmination of my whole existence, and particularly the experiences that I've been having over the last, really this year, but really strongly over the last 2-3 months. I work very closely with women for a living. I've been doing so for almost 13 years. What drives this is a deep, deep soul, is massive heart. Supernatural force is what guides me to be able to do this very difficult work of working in the realm of power, full power, real power, true power for women who are truly called to cultivate and bring that forward, regardless of their background, their circumstances, etc. And there's been an emphasis on melanin dominant women, and which is a whole other layer of lack of knowledge, lack of experiential knowing, difficulty, discomfort, etc. For all the reasons that I've talked about here for so long, living in a world that is inexperienced with interacting with a full-powered, self-aware, owning who she is woman, any woman, and particularly a melanin-dominant woman who comes from a genetic line, whose blood, whose heart calls her to be a very massive being on this planet. It's a whole other conversation that I'm not going to get into right now. However, I have great, great respect for this woman because I am her. I have great, great love for this woman because I am her. And today's conversation is a vibrational level up for massively powerful women. Is what I'm noticing is a standard that's required for me to erect, and a conversation that is now time to be had, because a lot of it is just people, they don't know, or sometimes just hearing it, okay? They may have a sense, they may have a knowing, but it needs to be heard and it needs to be laid down vibrationally, okay? So this is a vibrational lay down, and let's get into it. Before I do, let me come over here and say hi to those who are here now. YouTube, as you know, you're always welcome to put forth in the comments. Okay. Welcome in. I'm going to scroll back to see who I may have missed. Hello, sexy royal goddess. Hello, boss twin. Thank you for the follow. LA Davis, thank you for the hearts. All right. So I'll start with this. Humans are powerful, incredibly powerful. All humans, all of us, are very powerful. Those of us who are of this essence that I'm talking about, and you will hear what you will hear, okay? I'm not going to get into great elaboration about some of these nuances. You will hear what you will hear. Those of us who are of this particular essence that I'm talking about here today, under this umbrella of the vibrational level up, the world, when I say the world, I mean the whole wide world here on Earth, is unfamiliar with and massively disrespects the massive power that you are when you are in full ownership of who you are. You are front facing, fully responsible for your words, your energy, your quality of presence in any room, your decision, and what you are moved to do all the time. This world, this earth, no matter what country you go to, no matter what human being you interact with, there is great disrespect, lack of awareness, lack of appreciation for who you are at this level of self-responsibility, ownership, and shine in the world. Let's start there. Okay? So, part of what I'd like to get into today, as the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, let me repeat, I am a high-level coach and mentor for extremely powerful women who run, who hide, who are terrified of their power, who have mastered manipulating, mastered playing small, mastered living behind veils and sort of sending power out a little bit, but not fully, because what's going to happen? What are people going to say? What is the cost? I don't want to be responsible. It doesn't really matter. Will I be loved? What will people think? Will I be killed? What will this mean? This is what I do for a living. This is who I am. It is who I was born as. I repeat, this is who I am, this fullness that we are when we stop doing the things that I just named. When we stop doing the things that I just named and we take full front-facing responsibility for all of who we are, our deepest thoughts, our deepest emotions, our true intent, what we really meant, what we're really called to be and think and express and emote and bring to the world. I am that. I am born as that. When you come into my space and you are in lack of awareness of who you are not taking yourself very seriously, you still want to hide and do powerful things from the back where you want to just send out a little bit, but not fully stand in it. When I see that and I talk to you, you're going to feel like you're being talked down on because you're choosing to stay in the down versus standing in the up of who you actually are. Okay, let's be clear. Let's be clear. I take full responsibility for every word that comes out of my mouth. My fullest intent. I take responsibility for the way I walk into any room, anywhere in the country. I take responsibility for the videos I create, the conversations with the people in my everyday life, what's coming out of my mouth now, whether it's perceived as negative, positive, good, bad, everything that women like us run from, are unfamiliar with, are afraid to stand fully in, I stand in it. When you come around me and you're not yet in awareness of yourself, but you want to come in because you want to come into this power. Women who are of this essence, there's all humans, like the 8 billion plus of us. Then there's the women who are extremely massively powerful. I repeat, there's the 8 billion plus humans who live on the planet right now. And then there are those of us who are massively, giantly powerful, who play small and just sort of live in the back and have mastered low-level manipulation. We have mastered low-level manipulation. And what we are so strongly called to do is to no longer need to engage in this doing things from the back, playing small, running around in this sort of little girl essence, and learn to exist in the world being a full powered, highly vibrational being, not a talking thing. Your vibrational being becomes so magnetic and fierce and true because you run from nothing about yourself. You lie about nothing about yourself. Therefore, you can exist in front of 8 billion human beings. You can speak on the world stage and be worried nothing about the evil eye, negative entities, somebody throwing a curse at you, people praying for your downfall, people seeing through you. You know why? Those of us who are extremely powerful worry about that because you are playing in low level vibrations. So you're worried about being matched at low level vibrations. A video I saw, maybe you all saw it on TikTok, I saw it maybe Saturday, where a Black woman put up a video talking about the level of freedom that white people have because they share like their baby being born. They put up a picture of their newborn child. They talk about financial goals or details about up leveling and all these different things. And Black people so scared because they worried about negative energy coming their way. She called them the village people. And village people means family to her. And it was, when I tell you, the hundreds of comments where it was just like this whole gathering, hundreds of Black people. And this video had maybe over 200,000 likes, hundreds of comments with all of these Black people gathering, sharing that sentiment about how you don't tell nobody nothing about nothing, how you hide in your financial goals, you don't want to show pictures of your kids, you worried about evil eye and negative entities and people praying for your downfall and all these about. As soon as I share about this going on, before you know it, I lose it. And then this going on. Anybody see that video? Anybody see that video? Now, a couple things. I'm going to reiterate some things. One, there's all the 8 billion 8 billion plus humans walking around. Then there are those who are of the essence, and you know what I mean. Okay? When you are of the essence that I'm talking to, when I say here on the screen, for massively powerful women, which is not most of you, take it how you take it. Okay? It is not most of you. When you are massively powerful and you're playing small, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? When you exist at that level of like hiding from the back and not wanting to stand in your power, and I'm going somewhere with this, so stick with it. Okay? And you exist at that low level, and you're like, uh, uh, you don't want to share a money goal or just all this shit that they was talking about on this video, and word about the evil eye, etc., and all of these different things. The reason why it's hilarious, I'm just like, dude, what? The evil eye is a couple things. One, the matching of energy, and is evidence of the fact that you exist at that vibrational level. You exist at that vibrational level. But because you don't own the fullness of yourself, you offload it onto, see, evil eye. See? Because motherfuckers be praying for your downfall. see, you can't say nothing because niggas is jealous and bitches be mad and that, because you are not owning who you are, so you exist at vibration. Now, there's so much I want to share. I got notes. It's just so much. Again, if you need to go, the replay is on YouTube. Okay, for those of you who cannot stick around, but stick around. You can go look at the replay by going up to TikTok and okay. Let me share a little bit more about myself and what's going to be required for those of you who are done with that shit and are ready to work with me at a very high level. So this is part of why this is coming forth today, vibrational level up. It's because I realize it's time for a vibrational level up for me. And some things that need to be stated that sometimes to me, I just think it's evident, right? And in a way it is, but also it needs to be laid down very intentionally here and now. A couple things. I'm magnetic. I'm magnetic. This is why you are watching this live stream. It's why for those of you who want to be around me, I'm magnetic. There are efforts that I have been engaged in very consciously and actively for the last, I'd say, 11 years, and even prior to that in very unconscious ways, but very actively for the last 11 years, okay? What you're seeing here is vibrational reflection. What you're experiencing, what you're feeling, my voice, the essence is vibrational reflection. I want to link this to what I said earlier about those of us who are extremely powerful. Okay, those of us who are literally born to do very high level work in the world, collective level work, paradigm shifting work, consciousness work, whether it's for the collective or for small groups of people amongst the collective. Not everybody is called in this way. And like I said earlier, the earth, let me be clear here, most humans who exist here, the 8 billion plus who exist here on earth, most are ill-equipped, inexperienced, and disrespect the vibrational force and power and purpose of those of us who are born to do this elevated collective work in the world. You're going to hear that how you hear that, okay? So and then for those of us who are extremely powerful, but are still unwilling to own who we are, hear me. Those of us who are born, so there's those people who I just described. Then there's those of us who are born, so there's the 8 billion plus who are the regulars, if you will, okay? Then there's those of us who exist among a narrow group of beings who are born here to do very specific work in the world, okay? And are disowning that, are still running from that, hiding from that, trying to do little things in the back, making up excuses, trying to, all the things that I've talked about here for years, really, okay? And then you come into my space, whether it's at a womanhood initiation, which I had today, whether it's at Women in Italy or Women in Paris or some other physical gathering that I'm hosting, you send me an email or a DM, whatever it is, and you're still choosing to want to interact with me in a way that's not taking full ownership of who you are, wanting to be small, unwilling to be front facing and fully responsible, even if it's just with me. I'm not even talking about being visible online. I'm talking about being front facing with me, where you're owning everything about the way you talk with me, the way you show up with me, your choice of how you interact with me, your quality of being with me, and you still are choosing to lean back Because part of why we lean back the way we do is because it's an energetic reflection of our disowning of the fullness of who we are. Because when we own the fullness of who we are, suddenly people start feeling that. And we don't want that. We don't want people to feel the vastness of us. We're afraid of what will happen when our husband feels us expand in his space, when he's used to us playing this hidden, lean back, fake submission wife. We're afraid of what's going to happen if we're going to lose our job when our colleagues and our boss see us walk into a space with a whole new shine. Girl, I'm going to lose my job. It'll be too much, girl. We're afraid of what's going to happen with our girlfriends that we've accumulated, who they are used to us playing this, hey girl, this sort of simple, basic bitch, lean back. Girl, what you doing, girl? Girl, nothing, girl. Because remember, we've learned how to manipulate masterfully at low levels. But what our soul is longing for is to be so bright, to shine so vastly, and in a refined, unapologetic way. Not this like, bitch, I do what I want to do, bitch. Because, bitch, I'm grown, bitch. Nah. We want to be so clear and self-responsible where we are taking responsibility for the words that come out of our mouth, for our quality of presence in every room that we enter. We're noticing how our presence is impacting the room. And it's not that we're responsible for everybody. No, we're so responsible for ourselves. We're responsible for ourselves. And we know that that responsibility and us shining in any place, walking into Target, picking up our kids from school, with a boyfriend, a husband, a lover, a whomever, the ripple that that's going to have in the world. And when we're unwilling to take responsibility for all that, we live a lean back reality and we start to match the vibration of all the people who exist at that level. Okay? And still, even when we're playing at that level, we always know that we are, even if nobody else knows, right? The people at your job see you as, hey, she's cool, she does a bit, right? Perhaps your husband or boyfriend or lover sees you as just, right? And the whole time, the being that you were born as, I repeat, we're born like this. It's not like we read a spiritual book and now, wow, I want to go. We watched a bunch of YouTube videos about, I don't know, about the Akashic records, and we're so fascinated. And now we want to go study about the Akashic records, and now I want to create content about the Akashic records. We're born like this. You were bright at 2. Your mother saw you at 3, and she didn't know how to interact with your brightness. They put you in the church that is disregarding of the feminine. Your vastness, your brightness, your knowing that the whole humanity disrespects, frowns upon, judges. You start learning how to tamp that down at 3, at 5, at 7. And now here you are, 35, 45, 55, and you want to bring it out into the world, but your whole nervous system, your whole body, your bone marrow, your blood knows that the majority of humanity will on you. Even those of us who are extremely powerful, who are still disowning and want to play small, even we will disrespect you in your presence because we're still choosing to hide and play small. Not take it very seriously because whatever the reasons are. So this vibrational laydown right here is to speak to what is required of you when you are sensitive, because you can do it. You can. You are born to do it. You are made to do it. Your whole being holds the blueprint, and your job is to be obedience and moving with the blueprint of who you are. This is the very niche, refinedness of what I do and the respect. So here's what's required. Okay, here's what's required if you're sincere about your shine. You're sincere about taking responsibility for the fullness of you so that you can come out here and be the woman who you are born to be. Do the work in the world that you are called to do. Steward. Be able to take in the fullness of life without feeling the need to run high, play small, all the things. Okay? So here's what's required of you. One, again, let me repeat this. If you are sincere or more aligned, when you are sincere about owning your full power, no longer hiding behind what people gonna think, and scared of not being loved, judged, being alone, whatever the result will be of your full shine in the world, refined and unapologetic. When you come into work with me, for those of you who do, in whatever capacity, this is what's required of you. One, humility. We are not on the same level. Hear that how you hear that. We are not on the same level vibrationally yet. However you want to. You need to respect that at the onset. We are not on the same vibrational level yet, but that's on to me. When said differently, imagine you going to a mentor or a coach and you enter their space and you acting like you know. Oh, I know. Well, imagine you go into the space with a coach, a mentor, a guide, a spiritual teacher, whatnot, and you enter the space acting like you know what they know. You on their level. You already know. Do you see the lack of respect in that? Do you see the ignorance in that? Do you see the immaturity in that? One, humility. Number two, you need to own all of who you are. Part of owning who you are is owning the aspects of yourself that you think you know because you thought about it. You know some things conceptually, but you have very limited experience with living in the underworld. The underworld is your unconscious mind. For those of you who may have some fuzziness around the unconscious mind, your unconscious mind is hidden from you, meaning it's not something you can even think. It's not something that you can talk to anybody about because it is in your unconscious, meaning it is out of your awareness. And part of your ability to shine in the world is being willing to traverse the underworld of you without shaming and blaming. And practicing this movement, this relationship, this familiarity, and that's what you part of why you would even come to me to be able to have a safe space to do such a thing. Because like I said, the rest of the world is going to look down on you, think you crazy, what are you doing, spit on you, disrespect you, disown you, because they lack the care, the skill, the awareness, the DNA to even be able to see you, hear you accurately. So number two, when you come into my space, you need to own all of who you are. So when I'm reflecting back to you an unconscious behavior, words, something that you didn't see about yourself, and you're seeing it in my reflection, we can make movement versus you being introduced to yourself and you're, but you remember this is why you went into hiding to begin with, because you were afraid of people seeing the vastness of you. Now, hold on. I want to say something about, we'll come back around. Number one, humility. Number two, own all of yourself, which is inclusive of the unconscious parts of you that will come out without your conscious awareness. Number three, and this is connected to number two, you need to admit. When I was sitting here writing these notes before I came live, soon as I was like, admit, the word submit came to mind. And I was thinking, what is the etymology of mit? So I looked at the etymology of mit. And the etymology of mit, M-I-T, because I just said admit. And then I thought submit. And I thought, what is the etymology of mit? M-I-T. So I looked up the etymology of M-I-T. And the etymology of MIT is Latin, meaning to send. Send, S-E-N-T, S-E-N-D, to send. So some words to enforce this is commit, remit, intermittent, omit, transmit, permit, mit, to send. In aligning this with vibrational level up, when you admit who you are, particularly because we seem to have a pretty good job with admitting who we are when it's positive, right? Yeah, I'm a god. Yeah, I'm that bitch. Yeah, I'm fabulous. Yeah, I look good. Yeah, I'm this. I got my degree. Yeah, I made this money. Yeah. Oh, we will admit that left and right. But do we admit how much we lie? Do we admit how that was actually ill-intended? Do we admit how much we're low-level manipulators? Do we admit how much we're unwilling to be front-facing, self-responsible, full-powered women who were born this way? Do you admit that? Do you admit the ugly? Because when you admit, you send a vibration that elevates you. See, that's the counterintuitiveness. Something about admitting things about us that are not so favorable stings the part of us that fears we won't be loved when we admit this ugliness about ourselves. That you won't admit that you have been complicit in your smallness by pretending with your husband, and you know you've been pretending for the last 13 years. And when you can admit that you've been complicit in keeping him strangled and you strangled by your mere agreement to that low-level marriage, that doesn't feel so good when you realize your whole reality has been hinged on you lying for the last 13 years. That doesn't feel very good, right? Or admitting that you actually intended something from a place of, I was afraid that if I stood in this, if I admitted this, that I owned this, that I would no longer belong in this community, that we would no longer be able to be in a relationship. And it stings the part of us that at the deepest level long to be loved and to be connected and to belong. Because we're biologically wired to belong somewhere where our highest, our absolute highest belonging is to first belong to ourselves. Do you belong to you? Or do you constantly abandon yourself by lying? Do you constantly abandon yourself by leaning back and, all of these little, y'all know what I'm talking about. You're doing little things from the back, but you won't stand in it. and own it unapologetically, because will I be loved? Will I be judged? Will I belong here? Will I belong to this marriage? Will I belong to this friend group? Will I keep my job? Will all these things, this whole life that I've constructed, your whole life, your current friends, your current boyfriend, your current, everything that's in your life right now is reflection of your way of being and all your decision making up to this point. And when we are like this, hiding, we do things from back here. Or we want to show up to a space and act like we big things. You want to walk into a room and be this big old thing. But you don't want to be the full thing. You just want to be this fraction of the thing that sort of lets you have some kind of chest pumping power in the room that are not so desirable, that you admit to yourself first. And you, number two, own yourself first, belong to yourself first, admit to yourself first, that immediately imbues you with a wholeness. Because you're no longer just trying to be this part of yourself, but not this part of yourself. Because if you become whole in a space, divorce is on the menu. When you become whole in this space, you don't fit at that job no more. When you become whole in this space, you're no longer a vibrational match for all the evil eye motherfuckers, the niggas who praying for you down. Do you understand that in your belonging to yourself at your highest level, there's no such thing as an evil eye, as a curse, as a hex, a wickedness? Do you understand? Like, you're on totally different planes. Your mind is different. How you emote is different. How you take all this knowledge, this data, this experience, and literally you are a real-time alchemist all the time. Real-time alchemist all the time. Real-time alchemist all the time. But when you are choosing to disown yourself, not admit, lie, you want to wield power from the back, continue to be afraid of not belonging, of not being loved, of not being judged, and you walk around split every day. Your current friends are a reflection of your split self. Your current husband, boyfriend are a reflection of your split self, and you're trying to do all of this behind stuff. You're seen through. So all the people who are about that evil eye life, that praying for you down, they see that. They see you scared. They see you split. They see you incomplete. And you don't want their belonging. Or do you? Or do you? You want to belong to the evil eye clan? You want to belong to the putting a curse on that bitch. I'm putting a hex on that bitch. I'm praying for that bitch downfall. You want to hang out there? Baby, because you can stay, baby. You can have it. You can have it. Hang out. Or with your limited time left on this earth, with your limited time, how old are you? With your limited time left, are you ready to shine so fucking bright? So fucking bright. There are a few things. One, certain motherfuckers get out the way and watch from a distance. Can't touch you. Can't touch you. Can't touch you. Vibrationally. Number two, the ones who do come in, they start to wake up to themselves, regardless of what they looking at you, like they can't even believe the level of shine that you are. Boom, let me share this. Ooh, come on. How many of you, okay, self-awareness here, you know that at your deepest, which is your highest, as above, so below, at your deepest, you're so loving, you're afraid to love because you might become so, right? Let me speak for myself. Words can't even share, and I'll give words to it. I'm incredibly vast. I'm embodied. All this, what I'm telling you, I do and continue to do. It's never over. I do and I continue to do. Mm. To exist here on earth, like I could leave today if I really wanted to. I could leave today. I could leave earth today. In order for me to exist here, to do this live stream, to live every day, to walk around, to wake up and go by my, there's a way that I lower myself. Hear that how you hear it. There's a way that I lower myself to interact with people. There's a way that I lower myself. In my complete state of not lowering myself, there is no double-mindedness the way so many people live. They're just double-minded. They're just yes, no, I want to, but no, maybe I don't know. Doubt all over the place. All the things. There's been so much work for me to get here. Experiential work. When I say experiential, that means you got to go out and live the fullness of you. You got to do things that destroy your ego. You got to do things that don't feel good. You have to live in discomfort. Matter of fact, I wrote some things down here. You got to make very difficult decisions all the time. You got to make very difficult decisions. Like your current husband, boyfriend, lover, all that. The decision to split could be a part of what you need to come into the full power that you were born as and to activate. Are you going to make that decision to leave that husband that you've been married to for 10 years, 20 years? Number two, lots of discomfort. Are you drawn? Are you moved to bring who you are out that causes you to be willing to live in discomfort? My whole life, particularly over the last 13 years, when I tell you the amount of discomfort, and when you commit to it, one, the embodiment occurs, but you start being able to be with the vibrationalness of all the layers of vibration. You've seen the levels of vibration. The lowest one, I think, is shame. And the highest one is authenticity. You've seen, and like it's all of them. It's anger, it's joy, it's bliss, it's rage, it's anger, it's depression, it's sadness, it's the whole range. What happens is when you commit to this work, which is what I'm so excited to help those of you do who are sincere about this. You can DM me or fill out the application. When you commit to it and you go out and live yourself, because the highest word is you going out to live the fullness of yourself, and you're willing to be uncomfortable, you're willing to have your ego knocked down every day, every year, every week, every month, even when you make mistakes, even with you flaws, right? Where you know the moments where you know that your ego was talking, and then when you go home by yourself and you reflect, you're like, oh my God, that was all ego. Oh God, I was so scared, or right? Or anything. When you go reassess how much your ego was talking, your shame was talking, your fear was talking, and then you come back and clean it up. When you're really committed to this path, you have all these experiences that refine who you are. But if you're not admitting, you never get the fucking full power that your soul is longing for. You have to admit that your ego won. You have to admit that you lied. You have to admit that you were scared of not belonging if you told the truth. You have to admit that you clung to that marriage even though you were sad and unfulfilled in it. You have to admit that you kept that job because the mortgage, we got to pay the mortgage. You have to admit that you actually were ill-intended, that you were ugly, that you were sad, that you were afraid. You have to admit it. Every time you don't admit, you keep yourself hidden, disempowered, and the level of misery that you live at when you live like that. So number two, lots of discomfort. And I'm not finished with the list of the things that you are required to be when you enter my space. Number three, unfamiliarity all the time. unfamiliarity all the time. One of the many reasons why we cling to the people we cling to. Like your mother, you can know that your mother is toxic, but being in that toxic relationship still gives you a feeling of belonging, right? Like at a deep level. Can we admit that for those of you who are in their reality, right? Your husband, right? You could be like, it's just normal, right? Like, you know, you're not going to thrive there. You know that you cannot become your full self there, but it's so comfortable, right? You've been, meaning, even in the pain of it, it's familiar. Even though you know that if you vibrationally rise, the marriage is not going to work anymore. And part of what you want, or what you've been unwilling to do, remember I said you're just unwilling to admit and make the difficult decision, is you've been unwilling to make the difficult decision that the decision alone would instantly raise your vibration. Instantly. The decision alone would instantly lift your vibration. But it's so familiar here. It's so familiar. Like, I know what's going on here. I know when he's coming and going. I know how things work. My identity is protected in this space. I don't have to worry about confrontation. I don't have to worry about seeing myself fully. I don't have to worry about being front facing and self responsible. And even though I know I'm not going to thrive here, even though I know I'm not going to get to know my vast self and experience myself out in the world, like exploring my ego more, exploring this unconscious part of me. I don't even know what it is, but I notice that I keep getting pulled, wanting, you are clinging to be familiar because you're so afraid of unfamiliar. So the third thing you need to really start to increase your vibration is to be willing to traverse the unfamiliar. So, number one, difficult decisions. You're required to make them. If you're not, well, you can hang out in your current level. Lots of discomfort, lots of it. It's not just like, whoo, girl, that, right? You have a good workout. And no, your whole life. This is why community is important. That's why mentorship is important, because it's a lifestyle. Number three, unfamiliar. And number four, looking bad or crazy, being judged in some kind of a way. Looking crazy, looking bad, being judged, people saying things that sting. Are you unwilling for people to be saying things to you that sting, that hits the part of you that does doubt? You secretly, quietly doubt this already, and then somebody actually says it out loud, and ouch. Are you willing to look like a fool following that deep voice? That it's the same voice when you get quiet enough. It's the same voice you heard 10 years ago, but you were afraid to listen to it. It's so clear, it's so there. Like when Oprah say, life talks to us all the time, and then we don't listen, and then we get a pebble, and then we don't listen to the pebble, and then we get a brick, and then we don't listen to the brick, and then we get a bulldozer. So then when you be having these dark nights of the soul, when you get divorce papers out the blue, when you suddenly get cancer, when you have a near-death experience, all these bulldozers. Because you didn't listen to the whisper, you didn't listen to the pebble, you didn't listen to the brick, and boom, here's ah! So are you willing to look bad? I told the story here last week about how my mama told me I was an embarrassment to the family when I started to unfold the wholeness, the fullness of me. Because you keep walking around split, your bulldozer is on the way. And you're just lingering in the fear of something is going to happen because you know. And then you want to satisfy with TikTok, cheap, but shopping, and it never. Are you willing to be an embarrassment to your family, to listen to that voice that you know is your voice? Are you willing to be judged? Are you willing to look like a fool? Are you willing to lose your current reality to make space for the brightness of you that will create a whole new reality? Are you willing to lose the husband or no? Who's going to admit? Who's going to admit? Are you willing to lose the job? Are you willing to lose temporarily your children's respect or adoration? Or no? Are you willing to hear your mom question your judgment, your decision making, your womanhood, your motherhood? Or no? For those of you who feel called for you and I to work together privately, there is an application at the link in my bio. Go to the link in my bio and you can complete it if you feel called to. So this is what's required. Let me repeat them. Difficult decisions, lots of discomfort, unfamiliarity, and looking bad or crazy or being judged. All of this is required for you to become whole. Again, this is for extremely powerful women. This is not for the regular average women who are very satisfied with a regular average life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Be clear. When who you are is born to do work that feels dangerous, but you know it's for you, that feels like all the powers that be are going to uh, be riled up or triggered when I really stand fully in the vastness of who I am. And this is for those women who were born massive. Born massive. This is what's required of you. And this is some of it. Now I want to complete, because there's one more of the 4 that's required for those of you who plan to enter my space to work with me in any capacity. I've already spoke about humility is required. Do not come into my space acting like we're on the same level vibrationally and like you know. If that's the case, go on about your life. I mean, isn't that evident? Number 2, you need to own all of you, your thoughts, your choices, your quality of presence in a space, your tone of voice, your unconsciousness that will act itself out. And let me say this. I want your full shine. You know how we be worried about shining in front of people? We be worried about how we gonna look if we just really like vibrationally be on some boss shit. I don't mean like the talking boss shit or because you wearing something, even though a cute outfit show do hell, right? But I mean, you could be no makeup, bald headed, no clothes on, and the vibration that comes up off of you is just wow, whoa, wow, right? We're afraid to exist around other women like that. Yes or no? Right? Part of why you're afraid, one, is because you don't own all of who you are, so you still own that whole curse, negative energy, evil eye shit. So one, own all of your, but also, and this is when I started to talk about the way I actually exist. I want you full and whole. Here's the thing. When you start raising vibrationally, you're naturally going to respect yourself. It comes with the territory. Huge self-respect. Like, you're not just like, oh, self-love. You actually do love, like for real. You have such regard for all things. You don't discount something because it don't feel good, because it don't look good, because it don't. You might not prefer it, but you don't disrespect and disregard. So when you're like that with yourself, where you own everything about you, you're in this place of, because when you're admitting, remember number 3 is admit. You're in such admission of reality of you, which is everything outside of you. You're in such admission that there's a vibrational ownership, there's a vibrational yesness, there's an elevation. So naturally, when you're around any human being, including me, there's a part of you that can feel if I'm not, and you want me up there with you. You want me up there with you. That's how I exist. I want you vibrationally high. It does not feel good for me for you to come into my space. And because you've come into my space and you're not owning who you are, you still made the decision to not own. You lack humility, so you're showing up like we the same vibration. You already know, and you act on, and you're in such unconscious behavior. So much about your behavior sitting there with me is so unconscious, so unrefined. But you think because you a bad bitch and you just loud mouth and all, but your high self wants to become refined. Here's the thing. Your high self wants to become refined. You're just so unaware of yourself. You're so inexperienced. You fear not being loved, being judged, not belong. Like all that starts to get activated. And still, I want you up. So part of the reason why I'm sharing these is because I'm like, in order for you to get the actual benefit of us coexisting, you got to enter with humility. You got to enter with the ownership that so much of you that is currently invisible to you is going to start to come up, and you want it to be refined in the space. That is the purpose of the relationship. So you can refine in the space, not come into the space and stay how you are because you know. Yes or no? You are coming into the space of an actualized being who is in ownership of my own self. Like I said, my thoughts, my choices, your choices, my quality of presence in the space, your quality of presence in the space, your tone of voice, my tone of voice, everything. So it gets a chance to refine in the space, not me like acting like I know and it is you acting like you know and how does the work get to happen? The work happens experientially in the actual exchange, the actual energetic happening right there. But if you're in such disownership, you're such unwilling to look at your feeling, how it feels, the discomfort of it. Excuse me, TikTok is sending me this puzzle piece thing. Hold on. There we go. How do you start to alchemize in real time so that you can shine? How do you start to become whole so you no longer need to exist split in your reality that keeps you in relationships and jobs and a way of being that has you at a low grade level of depression and misery all the time? So please know, I want your shine. Bring your ugly, just be responsible for the ugly. Bring your darkness, just be responsible for the darkness. Admit it, own it in the space. Don't come with all of this unconscious, you think you know, just spouting out shit and then act like, because it's okay. Your flaws are okay. Your mistakes are okay. Your darkness is okay. Your shame is okay. Your ugly is okay. It's all in you anyway. Like you're not like hiding anything. The issue is in this thinking that you're hiding, and with so many other people you are, because remember, the 8 billion plus people is not there. For those of us who are existing at this high vibrational level, we see you. Even the other ones who are being disobedient, they see you. That's why you all, for those of you who do, exist at that same evil eye level. Praying from a downfall. Yeah, because you're at the vibrational level of that. Is it in your whole being, your heart and soul, to be so elevated in your actual being? You're not making anything up. You're so up, you're so vibrant, you're so elevated that there's a part of you that even lowers yourself to come and deal with people all the time, to do your distinct work in the world, to live your lovely life. This is the level that I'm at. And what I've, part of me has been like, don't you see that? That's why you're drawn here. But see, when you are in split and you're disowning, that's exactly why, part of the reason why I'm doing this live stream, when you are unwilling to be front facing and fully responsible, and you hang out back here and I'm not willing, well, because my parents are gonna, well, because my mom this, because my children this, because I'm gonna lose my job, or because it don't matter, because I don't like it, because I'm gonna be judged, I'm gonna lose love, because what are people gonna think, or because I'm gonna be killed, well, because when you come into the space, you can't own and get the actual benefits that you want, that drew you to me to begin with, which is at the highest level, you want to belong to yourself, shine brightly, and do what you came here for. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? I want that for you. Don't you think I want you to be shining bright next to me? Wait, for those of you who are sincere about doing the work to develop yourself, as you start to develop yourself, don't you want people around you who are developing too? Who are serious? It's a natural consequence of owning who you are. So, number one, when you come into my space, humility. Number two, own all of who you are. Number three, admit in real time what's happening with you. I'm telling you, this is how you come into the power you need. Number four, self-possession. Self-possession. What do you hear when I say self-possession? What do you hear? Thank you for liking the live. We have over 12, we have 12,000 hearts. Thank you so much. What do you hear when I say self-possession? Own yourself. Own my experience. There you go. Yes, yes. In alignment with spirit. Which spirit? Self-control, accepting every part of yourself. Thank you for your engagement. Very good. Accepting every part of yourself. Owning yourself and self-awareness. Hey, Salon. Owning yourself and self-awareness. That's right. Exactly that. Exactly that. Okay, let me see. Allow myself to hold space. You're responsible for wishes, desires, and experiences. Accountability, I'm responsible for my time. That's right. Walking in your truth. For those of you who are new here, my name is Naima. I'm the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, where my company, the coaching, the mentorship, the products, the services are to help women at large, because our digital products can help any woman who really feels drawn to the products. And because I am a vast being who was born this way, naturally, I very much have it in my heart and soul to be in great high service to those who are also born as vast beings and are called to bring that being out into the world through their way of womanhood, right? In your relationships with others, in particular work you may have been called to do as a business owner or even as an employee, if you're called to do that, or whatever else, in whatever way you are called to develop yourself so that you can emit, remember, emit, send. Come on, get into it. Emit out into the world, okay? So that's why I'm here. And so for those of you who feel called at a deep, clear level to work privately together, I would love that. Just be ready to actually embody and assert and refine what I just said here. Humility on all of you, admit, and self-possession. Because when you do, the level of the level of rare being you will become, the level of light, the level of, my God, vastness, profoundness, which you will be able to materialize down here. Come on. And you are made for this, literally. You are made, and it can feel so overwhelming. The tears, the trembling, the oh my godness. You were born as this. Is this incredible? So your job then, your responsibility, your full mighty responsibility is to become the being who can be and belong to the fullness of who you are. And it is such a great responsibility. And I understand the fear. I understand the wanting to offload it, to not want to take it very seriously, to want to drink it away, to want to eat it away, to want to instead play small and do all these things from behind the scenes. Because if you stand fully erect in it, the very impact it will have in the world. And you cannot fake this. Come on. You cannot fake this. You cannot talk your bad bitch self into this. You can't go and do all of this low-level shit that people, no. It's traversing everything here that I've talked about. Difficult decisions. You willing to lose? You willing to look like a fool? You ready to be an embarrassment? Lots of discomfort. You willing and ready? Or you just like the way it feel right now? Woo, yes, girl. Yes. You willing to be low? You willing to be an embarrassment to the family? You willing to lose your job? You willing to lose your husband? To become the vast being that you were born as? Is your being worth it? Is your life worth it? Were you made for such a thing, or you just like the way it feels? You willing to traverse the uncomfortable for life? You willing to look bad, like a fool, wrong, judged? Yes or no? Yes or no? See, tell the truth. Admit. Listen, baby, because listen, even I got today that mit, M-I-T, is the Latin root word for sin, baby. Admit it and send that energy out. And what happens? The raising of the vibration. You can't fake this. I don't care how laid your hair, the makeup, the outfit, the changing of the voice. All your evil eye people can see through that. All your evil eye, you're praying for your downfall, hexing, cursing ass people. How you so worried about telling people that you traveling here, that you making this money, that you doing this, doing that. And I'm not saying you need to be all loud and telling it. No. I'm saying when you're so imbued and you traverse this, what I'm talking about as a lifestyle, and your vibration lifts so much, it's only natural that you want to talk about the wonderful things. And when you're at that level, you don't say, "Ooh, I can't tell that because evil eye. Ooh, baby, because they jealous." Wait a minute, hold on. Something is not clicking. The embodiment has not yet occurred. The truthful wholeness is not real, but the sheer fact that you still even thinking about an evil eye. If that is a thought for you, that is a reflection of you, of your current level of vibration. Please take that. If you worried about evil eye, praying for your downfall, like this woman said in this video that had all these hundreds of Black people hovering and making comments, she called them the village people, referring to the family. You're praying for your downfall, evil eye, wicked this, curses and hexes, sending you negative energy. Okay, if that is going on with you, that's the vibration that you're at. You want to stay there? Stay, baby. You can have it. You can have it. Guess what? You can have it however you want it. The way you have it now is how you want it. You can keep it that way. What I'm saying is, if you are massively powerful and not this like, y'all know what I'm talking. Okay. And you've already faced, genuinely, you've already faced the suicide door. One time, maybe more than once, genuinely. You've already faced that door. You've already gotten sick, whatever the sickness was, terminal illness, couldn't get out the bed, whatever, right? You know what it looks like, you know what it feels like to be at the bottom of yourself in a way where if I don't come out with who I am, and you may not be there, like not everybody needs to get to that place. I did, apparently. And being at that place 2 times in my life, and then also everything that I've traversed to get here, where I constantly am putting myself in physical space with melanin dominant women, and I can see, I can feel, I can hear, and I work with women all the time. We are so scared of ourselves. We're so scared of people seeing who we really are. We are so scared of the fullness of ourselves. One, we know that most people lack skill, they can't see, they don't care, literally. Forgive them for they know not what they do, literally. Forgive them for they know not what they do, literally, right? You've already been spat on, disrespected, ignored, and you got the larger world talking to you in a certain way, right? So we are so scared of ourselves, and I get it. And when you are born as this essence, it's a so what? It's a get in line. It's a okay, so what you gonna do about it? And even higher, who you gonna be about it? That's it. You can do it. You are literally built. Literally. Bones, blood, flesh. You are built. Your heart is built for it. Your soul is built. You're built. You are built. Your frame, your true ways of being, not the you that is all back here, alters your voice, alters the way you walk in a room, alter the way you talk to your mom and the men and the kids. No. The real you, built for it. Your job now is to engage, make the decision, the difficult decision, that automatically lifts your vibration. The decision alone lifts your vibration. That alone. Lift your vibration, then engage in the lifestyle, the commitment, the behavior, the choices that knock your ego down constantly, that feel humiliating because you're an embarrassment to the family now, that has you look like a fool, that has you look like a crazy woman, that has people questioning your mental health. But because you've made the decision to be the you that has been in hiding for the last 25 years, the last 13 years, been in hiding since you were 7. And now you're doing the work to refine and bring her out. That you is built, literally built to traverse the here and now. I tell you, you will be able to handle everything. And even in your mistakes and handling the things that you choose to handle, you will become imbued with more power. Imbued with more power. Imbued. I reiterate, there are over 8 billion humans on Earth right now. Over 8 billion. All of these people are emitting, sending. Emit, remember, MIT is to send. The etymology of MIT is to send. The majority of these people are emitting scarcity consciousness, are emitting lack, emitting fear. When they see you, they literally don't see you. They see the limitation. They see the scarcity. They see fear in themselves that they are sending, projecting through their emitting your way. Because you make the decision to become who you really are, remember, your decision emits which automatically lifts your vibration, which starts to create a separation between these majority of the 8 million, all your evil eye people, your scarcity people, your hexing, cursing people, and lifts you in the decision, in the continuation of the decision. It opens your eyes to see, to be, to even be able to respond to the blueprint that you were born as. Many of you can't even make the decision and move and act because you're so busy in the back here and disconnected from who you are that it's blocking your ability to hook into the blueprint that you were born as, make the decision that would lift you vibrationally. You are built. Literally, you're built. You're built for it. You're built for it. Yes, there are prices to pay, which is why the difficult decisions are required. Yes, there's going to be lots of discomfort. Yes, it will be unfamiliar. Yes, you're going to look like an embarrassment to the family. Crazy, fool, judged. And where are you going to lean? Toward all the judgment and fear and running and isolation? Or are you going to say yes to who you've always known you were? And in making the decision to commit to that becoming, it automatically lifts your vibration, which then sets you up for perpetual ascension. So that you can do your distinct work in the world. You can be the woman you actually are. You can start to be a model for your daughters, your nieces, other women, girls around you, and to develop the skill by going out and living your full self. That is very uncomfortable. Going out experientially, whether the job, the relationship, where you refine in the process. You refine in the process. And each, yes, you refine, you get brighter, brighter. Your vibration lifts more. You become so skilled that you don't even think about evil eye. And then when you do think about it 8 months later, you're like, oh shit, I ain't thought about that in forever. And you're like, whoa, I have grown. Are you willing to commit to that or no? You see? So it's rare. It's rare. I'm telling you. I've been out here on the internet for almost 13 years doing this work, and it is rare. This is one, it's sort of like the 1% are the 1% because they do what it takes to become the 1%. The 1% are the 1% because they do what it takes to become the 1%. The difficulty, the uncomfortableness, the difficult decisions, the respect, the humility, the owning all of you, the admission, the self-possession, making difficult decisions, lots of discomfort, familiarity, looking bad or wrong. And when you say yes to those things, vibration lifts, more powerful. So that means you're able to manifest at a whole different vibrational level. Down here, you're just trying to manifest to get a car, a house, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not judging and belittling those people. Know who you are. Know who you are. You want to manifest just to get a house? That's fine. Or are you looking to manifest a whole new way of being in the world so that everything you do and touch is abundant joy? Even things that like are not preferred, joy, bright ass light, huh? And then lifting all of those in your space, even at a distance, right? Like everybody here who's been lifted as a result of this live stream. You see that? Like that. And everything you touch, your children, you first. Remember, because this is all about belonging to you first, not trying to belong in other places and fit in. And I want to be loved, and which of course we all want those things. But looking for love is not out there. It's not it. It's here. Belonging to you first. Huh? All right. I'm going to answer any questions. And I think, complete for today here on this live stream. Any questions? Alicia said, I have been lifted. You're very welcome. Diana said, bless you, queen. Thank you. Pretty Rich said, you dropping melanated gems. All right. And looking good. Thank you. Any questions? Any closing remarks? Any admissions you like to make? Remember, admit is to transmit. Thank you for the over 16,000 hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I just told you how to change your resonance, which is vibration. I just told you. And this entire live stream, if you missed it, you can go to my bio on TikTok and to watch the replay on YouTube. I'm also simultaneously live streaming on YouTube. So you can go over there to watch the replay to get your question, a very thorough answer for the person who asked how to change my resonance. Pretty Rich said, I'm speechless. Alicia, I missed somebody's question. Wait a minute, hold on. How do you deal with the old identity? Diana, the same. Everything I just told you to do. And just notice how, Diana, you've been here a while because I saw your name at least, I don't know, 4 times over the last, 30 minutes, 40 minutes? And everything I just said is how you deal with the old identity. Everything I just said. You think it's something else because you don't want to do the things that I just said? That's a question, Diana. Everything I just said, humility, and this is us working together. Humility on all of you, admit and self-possession. If you are not called to work with me, but you still know that you're ready to do what you said here, deal with old identity, you make difficult decisions. You always know the decision that's required of you to make that you're avoiding. You agree to lots of discomfort. You agree to walk the unfamiliar. And you agree to take responsibility and accept that you will look bad to people, you will look crazy, and you will be judged. That's the answer to your question about how do I deal with the old identity. Are you willing to do that? I told you the answer, and you're looking for something else because it's difficult. That's the point. Accountability said is liberated, yes, to not be perfect and to just be myself. Make the decision first. So I'll answer this because Diana said practice. What's the practice I can engage in? Okay, what's the practice I can engage in? So again, I want to speak to those of you who are of this essence. And this could trickle down to folks who are not of this essence. So take it. Oh, I have a call in 10 minutes. So, I'll be out of here within the next 10 minutes. Remember I said today that so many of you, because you're unwilling to do these things that I mentioned and you're back here, unwilling to make decisions, that you're blind to yourself, so you can't even hook into the blueprint you were born as. Your blueprint knows what you are required to engage in. Now, mentorship with me is constantly bringing you back to yourself and providing a container for you to refine. Part of what the reality is for so many of us is because people don't see us, they lack skill, they forgive them for they know not what they do, they spit on us, they disrespect us, etc. We learn to show up in these split performative ways with people. So we may want to have a deeper conversation, but the people around us don't have that capacity because our decision making up to that point has these people in our reality. This is why I said to instantly raise your vibration, you have to make the decision to elevate. When you do that, you automatically elevate, which then starts to bring different people into your reality, okay? So part of you will know what practice it is for you to engage in when you make the decision, because then it lifts your vibration, which opens up your eyes, so then you can start to see who you are, what's for you, and you'll start to organically and naturally start to move in this way. Y'all, so I'm telling you are, for those of you who are, because I don't know if you are, Diana, but this is who you are is so blindingly massive, which is why, like your mother, for many of you, your mother was like, couldn't see you. Like you gotta accept and admit that you are a blinding thing, that you are a massive thing that's been in hiding, playing small for the last 35 years, 25 years. You have to admit that and then make the decision that you are going to become the big, blinding, bright thing that you were at 3, 7, So make the decision, Diana, and so much about you will be open to you. I do offer one-on-one mentorship. That's the whole purpose of the application that's in my bio. Nurse Kim, you said that it wasn't a good fit, about when I messaged you, you were like, it's not a good fit after seeing my live stream here. So what has shifted for you? You made a new decision? All right. 2 more minutes and I'm out of here. Last questions, thoughts? Have a good day, Pretty Rich. Again, if you want to watch the replay, it will be on YouTube. You go up to my bio here on TikTok and click YouTube, and boom, you can come over to look at the replay, okay? All right, you all take good care of yourselves.